Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Thursday.
We just need $288,000 to quit our jobs and travel the world? Question mark. I added the question mark because I don't know how numbers like this are arrived at. You know, what are the calculations? Same goes for the numbers from an organization called Earth Trekkers. They estimate that to travel around the world for a year, it would cost about $25,000 to $35,000 per person. So, we'd need that much money, $288,000 to facilitate that. And I mean, you know, a lot more goes into paying what we need to pay than just what it takes to travel. There's bills at home and all that, but even being American dollars, that still seems really low. $25,000 to $35,000 per person to travel around the world for a year. Then why does traveling to Vancouver for 1 week cost about a tenth of that total? Cake Bandit getting a lot of love online. The Cake Bandit being an opossum in Omaha who ate an entire Costco chocolate cake. Apparently found on the couch of a family home after some chocolate footprints were found leading to the crime scene. Nebraska, Humane Society called in to remove the opossum. Opossum's doing just fine now, but I think people are just finding themselves relating a lot to the story of eating an entire cake in one sitting. Now, I don't know exactly how big those Costco chocolate cakes are, but I can tell you that after finding out that everything in a McCain Deep and Delicious cake is produced in Canada, including the packaging, by a Canadian, that, I found myself able to black out and then look back down and see about half of the cake missing, sitting there by myself. So, the whole cake in one sitting from an opossum? Yeah, all too doable. Mark Hoppus is going solo for a tour in the United States, though not to perform music. At least not specifically. It's really to promote his new book, Fahrenheit 182, which is exploring his time with the band, of course, the time when the band came to an end, and the struggles that he's felt over the years with anxiety, his cancer diagnosis, and even getting into topics like suicide ideation. He says it gets dark in a promotional video, but he says it's also a music memoir meets medical journey that has some absolute uplift to it as well. The Red Hot Chili Peppers reportedly looking to sell the masters and rights to a ton of their music for a total of $350 million. It's unconfirmed if they're actually going to be going through with this, and it's also not clear if it's only the 13 studio albums and other releases that they put out through Warner Music, or if that also includes the first 4 albums that they put out through EMI. This is in addition to the, not music itself, but the $140 million that Hypnosis paid them in 2021 for the publishing rights and the songwriting catalog. Different than the actual recorded music and masters. Tons of money on the line. And Sharon Osbourne admitting to a major mistake in managing Ozzy Osbourne's career. She was just talking to Billy Corrigan on the Magnificent Others podcast and said that the biggest mistake she ever made for Ozzy was that he was offered to read for Pirates of the Caribbean, the original movie, and she said no. The both of them went on to agree how perfect it would have been if he had shown up and saying, hey, maybe it's not too late. You never know with Disney.
Friday.
Canada versus U.S. in media. Getting a lot of attention, of course, for obvious reasons recently. There's a fantastic limited comic series called We Stand on Guard, which has been flying off shelves once again lately. Basically dispute over water. Never could such a thing happen. Stay away from our tap. It's not open for you, Trump. I haven't watched this one since the 90s when it came out, but there's also the movie Canadian Bacon, which was one of John Candy's last films by Michael Moore. Like, it's his only non-documentary movie, just a comedy that is still politically charged. It's a satire about the border relations between our two countries. A peacetime president in the U.S. being convinced to up his poll placements by starting a Cold War with Canada is the premise.
A riot between Americans and Canadians broke out last night.
Now, with a little inspiration.
All I said was Canadian beer sucked.
Give me 1 week and I'll have Americans burning maple leaves.
They'll create a cause worth fighting for.
Is Canadian Prime Minister Clark MacDonald a member of a satanic cult?
Oh, that is stunning.
You get the idea. Might just have to find that somewhere to watch today, someplace on the internet. Oh, what a win. We're going to be dining out on this for quite a while. Canada is reeling still from the big win from last night. And yes, of course, we're going to milk this for all it's worth.
Centering pass, McDavid scores! Connor McDavid wins it for Canada!
I know I'm not the only person that moment made immediately flash back to seeing the Sidney Crosby overtime goal. Getting that gold-winning goal at the Olympics in Vancouver. I mean, that was, 15 years ago? I wasn't there in person. I was at Long Shots downtown watching with a crew, RIP to Long Shots. But the feelings were very similar. Aided, I think, by the fact that Crosby has been there the whole time as well. 87 alongside 97, all the way to the win. Our Lady Peace was in Edmonton last night, McDavid's territory, performing, with Rogers Place exploding into celebrations as the band found out about the outcome. I do wonder if Chantal Kreviazuk, who was at the tournament, of course, singing, was the one to let Rain Maida know. I mean, how do you avoid the information everybody knew? But thousands of people screeching the national anthem, I feel like that's just the way it's meant to be heard.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
News from the music industry, that's what I was trying to say. Imagine Dragons might have one of their songs end up being the first to ever be broadcast from the moon. They did a theme song for the video game Starfield called Children of the Sky that has now been selected to be part of a data center mission that's going to be launched from the Kennedy Space Center later on this month. It lands on the moon, and of course, if all goes to plan, it's going to then use a song to show that it's working. And the song they've chosen to transmit is from Imagine Dragons. They got to be thrilled about that. And Phil Collins, though he was talking last summer about new music coming out, it might not actually be happening. He says that he keeps thinking he should go downstairs to the studio and see what happens, but he's not hungry for it anymore. He says the thing is that he's been sick, very sick. He was just talking with Mojo magazine for their April issue, and he's a lot more immobile than he used to be, dealing with spine issues from drumming for so long amidst other things. Wishing him well. And even another situation that's got a band reeling. Kansas has had to reschedule shows as a member has revealed a cancer diagnosis, though they do say it's just a bump in the road and they hope to be on the road soon. 62-year-old Steve Walsh, Ronnie Platt, who replaced Steve Walsh back in the day, is announcing that he's got thyroid cancer diagnosis, but a 99% survival rate. It has not spread. He's feeling very good about the prognosis.
It's time for a local wild card. Steve introduces you to a local musical act from right here in our community and talks about our Fort Mac music scene.
He says he's always ready. We got Max Noseworthy in the hot seat with us because we're a week out from the CMHA Charity Jam event. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very good. Very happy to have you back here in the studio to chat again. You've been hosting for a few years now.
Yeah, this will be my 4th year hosting. It keeps getting better every year. Everything keeps getting, the schedule keeps getting tighter, and the music keeps always sounding better because of our incredible musicians here in Fort McMurray, as you know. Obviously, we got some of the best musicians and bands in Fort McMurray. We got Pizza in a Box. We've got Crosswind, Feather Jacket, Toddler Whalen. Ruben and Jess are playing. We've got a great big list of everyone. Adam Bugden, his daughter's playing as well. Bella,
cool.
It's going to be so cool. She's opening up the show. I'm really excited about that because we're watching her bud as a musician just blossoming into an awesome musician, right? So it's great to see.
That's what a jam is about, right?
Absolutely,
it's about a mix of the up and coming, of the people who've been around the block a little bit and know a few things, and sharing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, at the end, whoever wants to jump up on stage, we're going to have a super jam at the end, so that's always a good fun one.
That's so cool. So Friday the 28th at the Suncor Energy Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets are on sale right now. Think like a kitchen party, but with amps.
Yeah, kitchen party, but with amps. We also got a huge silent auction on the go, and it's going to be great. There's a couple of sets of Oilers tickets. There's going to be some great companies are donating. Like, there's huge prizes there. The All In Sports Stand has thrown in a bunch of box sets and jerseys and stuff like that. It's a fantastic event. I mean, the prizes, I usually bet on myself. They're that good. So
All In Sports Stand, the music room, they've of course supported with the CMHA with the Northern Lights Christmas album that we talked about a lot. Came out in November. They're back at the plate again, and it does help out with the Wood Buffalo chapter of the CMHA. So all the money raised stays here in our community, helps out in our community.
Absolutely, yeah. They've been a big player. I mean, it's we're all a big bunch of friends that are passionate about this cause, and we just put all that we can into it and try to help as much as we can, right? Because it's so valuable in our community.
To have a dedicated group of people that are behind it and bringing events like this to the table, regularly is really awesome. So you've been hosting for years. The Charity Jam's kind of been on and off for years beyond that. So this is a legacy event that if people don't know about it, they haven't experienced it, they got to get there. They got to get in the seats.
Absolutely. It's almost like a snowball effect too, because the more people that become involved, they realize how valuable it is, and it seems like we get more people in the team every year, and it keeps getting bigger and better, right? So nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, how do you hear about this and not have a few people around the wings going, how do I help?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's happened. I mean, we've got people from bartenders offering their services for free and people to work the door. And it's amazing the amount of support we get for this.
That's really cool. So how do people grab their tickets? I mean, it's kind of being sold through the CMHA. You can reach out through them to find out more. But there's a website, I'm imagining.
It's events at Wood Buffalo, CMHAAB.ca, or the Wood Buffalo calendar. I might have said that web address wrong. I'm not sure.
Right, yeah. And I mean, it's hard to remember a web address later anyway. So you'll find it through the CMHA or through yourself, Max.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'll direct you the right way. Or Mike Jones, too, right? Anyone like that, anyone who you know is involved. So
there's always the door as well, but last I saw it was 50% sold out. So I mean, that's no guarantee.
Absolutely, there's no guarantee. Last year, by the date of the jam itself, there was no door tickets left.
Yeah.
So if you want to make it, you might as well get your tickets right away.
You can't take it for granted.
Yeah, don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
It filled right up last year. And last year's event, like I said, fantastic, better than the year before. It gets better every year, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Still chatting with Max Noseworthy, the CMHA Charity Jam for the Wood Buffalo chapter on Friday of next week. In the name of music, maybe we could hear a little something as a teaser for next week's Charity Jam.
Sure. I've prepared an original song that I wrote last year or the year before for you guys. I can sing it if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be fantastic. I saw you brought your gear, so I would love that.
It's called Another Weekend.
Here it is. Take it away.
Woke up this morning feeling like I was in a curse. I stumbled out of bed and found my worn-out empty purse and my dirty, dusty boot down by the door I didn't close. It's just another weekend, I suppose. Saturday evening and I give myself a shake, and the first drink that I suffer feels like every damn mistake. So I stumble to the tavern to hear the screams and woes. It's just another weekend, I suppose. Woke up this morning feeling like I'm going down, but I'm just getting my feet back on the ground. Woke up this morning getting my feet back on the ground.
Woo! Fantastic. From Max Noseworthy right here in the Cruz studio. We're a week out from the charity jam for the CMHA Wood Buffalo chapter, and tickets are on sale, but they're not going to last according to what's gone on in the past.
I don't think so. Also, you're going to see me and Mikey Jones getting our heads shaved into a mullet. So
fantastic.
Right on
into
stage.
the March mullets. Yeah, well, that's so cool. And bring your singing voice as well, because I know there's going to be part of it that you're going to want to sing along to for the entire event. Grab your tickets before it's too late. Thanks so much for taking some time, Max.
Yeah, you're welcome. Wear your dancing shoes, too, because it's going to be a dance party.
Perfect. It's going to be a jam. That's right in the name.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.